Welcome to Das Geek. So there is this recent case that I just have to share with all of you because it really finally highlights to, I think, all the people out there who've been saying, hey, my privacy doesn't matter. I click terms and conditions, accept on everything. I don't even read them, and just blindly trusting that these companies are putting words and things in there that are somehow going to protect you and it's for everyone else, but not really you. And you're just this perfect citizen that does everything right anyway. So what do you have to worry about? And I think this particular case with Disney highlights the fact of why all of us should be far more concerned with what these companies are doing. So our case involves Disney, which, in my opinion, my personal opinion, this company is in a death spiral to the bottom. They just do not seem to be capable of doing anything correct for a long time. And it also includes two patrons of the park, one who passed away. And the lawsuit is from the husband. The wife passed away in one of the Disney parks. And his wife had severe allergies when it came to peanuts or dairy products. And according to the lawsuit, he multiple occasions told the restaurant that, hey, my wife has these allergies. Need to make sure none of the food, it's very severe, has these things in there. And so, of course, she ate the food and unfortunately she passed away. And the medical examiner even found that indeed she had dairy and peanuts found in her system. So this was the cause of her death. So I'm not going to really spend a lot of time talking about that portion of it, no matter what. Whether you agree with the lawsuit side of things or not, I feel terrible that somebody lost their life at a park, in which is supposed to be a very happy place and things. And it's just a very unfortunate sequence of events that took place. Well, Jeffrey's suing Disney, and he's suing them saying that, hey, we told the restaurant about the allergies. We told them multiple occasions. They did not do the proper steps to make sure that these items were not in the food that they served my wife. And therefore, they're looking for around $50,000 plus legal fees. Now, again, not here to comment on the validity of the case. What I'm here to talk about is how Disney responded. You see, they want the case thrown out so that it never goes to a jury trial. And their main argument for this, and it's unbelievable. Their main argument for this, Disney lawyers are arguing it can't be taken to court, it should be thrown out because in the terms and conditions of use for Disney Plus streaming service. Okay, they're at a Disney park here, all right? This has nothing to do with streaming service. They're at a Disney park. But because the husband signed up for a trial subscription of Disney Plus, and in the trial subscription terms and conditions, it states that you can't sue them, you agree to go to arbitration. And so Disney is basically saying because of that, because he agreed to the 2019, when he signed up for Disney Plus in 2019, to those terms and conditions, he has to do arbitration. They further argue that also by walking into the park and whatever documents or when you get the tickets or something's written on the back that also states that you can't sue the park. And of course, the countersuit is that doesn't apply to somebody in a wrongful death situation. You're talking about situations like, hey, I don't feel like I got the full value of my ticket's worth, or one of the main rides in Star Wars was shut down, or maybe even like, hey, I slipped in one of the restaurants because there was a puddle of water there and the signage wasn't super clear. Those things, maybe you could argue for the Disney park portion, but the fact they brought Disney Plus into this, a subscription service that has nothing to do with Disney parks other than it's owned by the same company, is just fascinating from a privacy. So suddenly, I'm hoping a bunch of light bulbs are going off in a lot of people's heads. Those individuals that say things like, terms and conditions, privacy policies, my privacy, my data, it doesn't matter. It's not going to affect me because I'm not a criminal. But see, in this case, the family that's suing weren't criminals. They didn't do anything wrong. The company allegedly did something very wrong here. They served them dishes knowing that this person had allergies in the allegation. And so it doesn't have to be, maybe you are that perfect person who's never done anything wrong. You have no enemies. Nobody would ever frame you. You're just the perfect citizen. You're just citizen A, the one that every country wants. But what if somebody wrongs you? And now your data, your privacy, those terms and conditions you blindly accepted, all those terms and conditions when you play a game, download an app that you just click through because they're so long. And see, the companies know this. They know by putting 6 pages of terms and conditions, along with including many times in the terms and conditions is their privacy policy, which is why I'm including them together, that people aren't going to read it. Because you either want to get into the app to watch that movie, or you want to get into the app to play that game, or you're just, not going to sit there and read 6 pages of legal jargon. And in there, they can hide anything they want. They can make it so things like this, you can never sue them. You have to go to arbitration. They can make up all kinds of situations where you have to agree to pay them, for at least 12 months if you sign up for the free trial. They can hide all kinds of stuff in there, and people don't know about it until later when it becomes something important. So I really want to stress that it is important to try to read through these things. I get that you're not going to read through all 6 pages, but at least skim through these and kind of understand and think about some of the issues that may be present because of the things that they're stating in there. Their lawyer's job is to write these things to protect them against all causes, all potential litigation, remove them of any responsibility of anything whatsoever. By the way, Disney wants this to go to arbitration because they want the privacy of not having this go to court. And of course, because of this stupid decision, they lost that privacy. But it's very interesting when you think about that these companies want the privacy. They don't want you to have it, but they want it. And so they'll do things like this to keep that. Think about that for a second. They're allowed to have privacy. Don't go looking up their executives and calling them and bothering them in the middle of the night with robocalls and all this stuff. Don't go out there and publicly shame the company for the stupid things that they do. We want privacy from that. And we're going to put that in our terms and conditions. You can't have any. We're going to sell your data and do all that stuff with it. But we want it. I mean, it's kind of backwards, don't you think? It's a little unfair, a little uneven playing ground when we're paying for these services. Because Disney Park is not free. It's not like a free service that you just go in there and get to enjoy the park. You're paying an astronomical amount of money, in my opinion, being ripped off on every single corner. $8 bottles of water, $15, $20 hamburgers. Plus, it's just, the whole thing is just designed to be a ripoff. The only people who are happy are the kids. The parents are miserable walking through those parks. In the perfect world, what Disney is doing here, which I think is absolutely heinous, they're even allowing their lawyers to argue this, they would be shamed out of existence, honestly. In the perfect moral world, that's what would happen. Everyone would just be like, you know what, I'm done with Disney, until they make some major changes, change out their leadership because of stuff like this, utilizing a Disney Plus terms and conditions against somebody who just lost their wife for $50,000. Is what they're asking for, is just ridiculous. But we don't live in that kind of world. And so, unfortunately, the public's too distracted with everything else. There's so much nonsense going on, it's hard to keep track. But I just thought this is really important. If you're one of the people fighting for privacy, you're fighting for, fairness in these terms and conditions, whether it be repairability laws where they hide things in there about you being able to repair your devices, or situations like this where it's forced to arbitration, utilizing cross services that have nothing to do with each other. This stuff is getting dangerous, not for the corporations. They're doing great. But for you, it's getting very dangerous, and we need to bring more attention to it. And I hope you share this video and help get the word out on these articles. I'll have a link to one of the articles down below. By the way, by watching this video, you have agreed to the terms and conditions that if you ever make $2 billion, you have to give me $1 billion of that $2 billion. So because you watched this video, you agreed to those terms and conditions, and I will appreciate it very much for all those soon-to-be billionaires out there. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know your comments below. What do you think about this lawsuit? What do you think about all these terms and conditions and 16-page privacy policies all combined and all of this stuff? How do you combat this nonsense in your own personal life? I'd love to know about it. And until next time, get out there and fill your brains.